so happy, Thank you, Linda, and thank you to all our wonderful singers this morning. If that doesn't make you more excited about the concert this afternoon, I don't know what will. Our reading this morning is a series of short quotes on a theme. And a series of short quotes that now, after that song, I might describe to an extent as some of the many reasons I am happy. Nelson Mandela said, "For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others." Judith Butler writes, "None of us is fully bounded, utterly separate, but rather we are in our skins given over, in each other's hands, at each other's mercy. This is a situation we do not choose. It forms the horizon of choice." It is written in Galatians 5, "For you were called to freedom, brothers. Only do not use your freedom as an opportunity for the flesh, but through love serve one another. For the whole law is fulfilled in one word: you shall love your neighbor as yourself." The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. wrote, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly." Maya Angelou is quoted as saying, "No one of us can be free until everyone is free." And lastly, Desmond Tutu proclaimed, "My humanity is bound up in yours, for we can only be human together." Here end the readings. For those who might not be so familiar, Juneteenth commemorates the ending of chattel slavery in the United States. The holiday dates back to June 19th, 1865, the date on which news of the end of the Civil War reached Galveston, Texas, about 2 months after the official surrender. Juneteenth observances began in Galveston the next year, quickly spreading across Texas and other parts of the South, commemorating the anniversary of receiving the news of freedom, of the freedom taking effect. The observance of Juneteenth as a holiday grew over the next several decades with parties and cookouts and picnics and prayer services to celebrate emancipation. The growth of the tradition stagnated a bit as industrialization brought more and more people into white-dominated cities that were less friendly to public observations of Juneteenth. But then, in 1968, at the Poor People's Campaign in Washington, D.C., organizers from Atlanta wore Juneteenth buttons and helped educate others on the history of Juneteenth and its connections to the current civil rights struggle. And that march initiated a new wave of Juneteenth celebrations across the country, including citywide celebrations in Minneapolis and Milwaukee that continue to this day. Though not recognized as a federal holiday until 2021, Texas passed a bill to establish Juneteenth as a state holiday in 1979, and all states except for South Dakota recognized the holiday by the time the federal legislation was passed. Today, like anything in America, different people and communities have different relationships to Juneteenth and ways of observing. But on the whole, the prayer services and barbecues, street fairs and music festivals, parades and more that people use to honor this milestone are not just celebrating a historical event and the ancestors who fought and endured the most horrendous conditions. They are celebrating the continued resilience, the continued liberation of African Americans today. And in this time, when not a day goes by that there isn't something heart-wrenching on the news, when fascism is on the rise and we stand peering out over the possibility of world war, it can be challenging a little to recognize and celebrate freedom when so many are so not free. I imagine that most of you know already that the Emancipation Proclamation and subsequent 13th Amendment did not abolish slavery entirely. Abolish slavery except as punishment for a crime. So we see slavery thriving in the colossal American prison industrial complex, a life-stealing institution which disproportionately affects Black and brown people. It might feel a little dissonant to celebrate freedom and emancipation as we witness federally emboldened agents target the most vulnerable among us for detention and deportation without due process. And we see a distinct lack of freedom with the overturning of Roe versus Wade and other blows to bodily autonomy. And we know that Black women have always experienced the worst of this kind of injustice. I am mentioning these horrible things not to bring us all down, but to remind us of the stakes. So much is at stake if we don't celebrate. If we don't learn about and rejoice in the triumph of a people over oppression and tyranny. It's possible. I first learned about Juneteenth as an adult, not all that long before the federal government decided to recognize it nationally. And I'll admit that my initial reaction was one of some trepidation. A bit of a feeling like perhaps this isn't for me, that it's not my history, so maybe I should just sort of take a step back. But this reaction betrays three major misunderstandings. First, that Juneteenth, the abolition of slavery, is somehow not a part of my history. Is it not American history? Am I not an American? Second, I was not attending to what our opening readings were all about. I am because you are. We sink together and we float together. The proliferation of freedom anywhere is good for everyone, everywhere. That includes me. That includes all of us. And third, and I think this is the biggest one right now in our current events and current political climate, third, to honor Juneteenth as an American holiday is not only to celebrate emancipation, it is to participate in a small but crucial step towards healing. In divinity school, I took a class called Reparations as Spiritual Practice, in which, among other things, we got to explore the spiritual dimensions of reparations across multiple faith traditions. One of our guest speakers, Rabbi Lynn Gottlieb, told us about the Jewish concept of teshuvah, which she describes as a spiritual framework for how to respond when harm has been done. In one interpretation, the steps can be understood as stopping the harm, taking accountability for the harm, telling truth about the harm, That means understanding how it was experienced by those most affected, paying reparations, and guarantees of non-repeat. And while there is certainly still much work to be done in America in terms of taking accountability for our role in the American system of slavery, the recognition and education about Juneteenth is a big step in the right direction of truth-telling. The dominant white culture often pushes a narrative that glosses over the true horror and lasting legacy of chattel slavery, and instead puts social and historical emphasis on the Emancipation Proclamation and the competing forces of the Civil War. In my experience as a publicly educated young person, the school system is generally more interested in teaching about colonial struggles for domination than it is about the actual experiences of the enslaved and formerly enslaved people. So it matters that Juneteenth commemorates a day on which real people, the people enslaved in Galveston, Texas, actually experienced their freedom. It does not mark a day a president made a proclamation or when the legislation was voted on. It centers the experience of those most affected and helps us focus on that unavoidable truth. My freedom is tied up in yours. My humanity is tied up in yours. It is the freedom, it is the experience of the wholeness of our humanity that we care about. That is always worth celebrating. By recognizing and celebrating Juneteenth as a nation, we're moving towards telling a more truthful, more compassionate version of our history. So let us celebrate. May the parties and barbecues proliferate. May there always be dancing and singing and joyful noise-making. May we always find hope and wells of joy in accounts of freedom and liberation, in reminders of our shared humanity. No one can pour from an empty cup, and there is so much work still to be done. But we know that celebrating the end of slavery, celebrating the freedom of Black Americans is not limited to parties and joyful expression, and is not bound up in a single holiday or holiday weekend. May the celebrations of Juneteenth this year help fuel us and direct our energy towards amplifying freedom, towards supporting the ongoing liberation and flourishing of Black Americans. For some, that may mean simply continuing to live your wild and precious life, to continue to take up space and make your mark in this world without apology. For others of us, especially those who benefit from systems of racialized oppression, it means education. It means paying deeper attention to the assumptions we make and the stories we tell, to think proactively about how our choices do or do not enhance the freedom of others. For example, there are sometimes debates, especially in New England UU congregations, about the appropriateness of singing African American spirituals, especially if the minister and other worship leaders are white. A colleague of mine in divinity school, Bobby Arrington, helped settle that debate for me in my own head when she said very simply, anyone can sing these songs as long as they know what they're singing. If we sing without really knowing what we're singing, it can end up causing unintended harm. Like with our opening hymn this morning, "There is more love somewhere." In the past, there was a bit of a trend in some UU congregations to change the lyrics to There is more love right here. A change made with the earnest desire to celebrate the depths of love we might experience in our own congregations, to appreciate what we have and what we can be for one another. But to invert those lyrics, to change it from a song of longing and hope to a song about appreciating the here and now, demonstrates a disregard for history, for the song and for the struggles and lament of the people who originated it. It shows an attempt to pull from African American culture without really trying to know it, without trying to understand it. Not only that, but do we want to close ourselves off to the idea that there is more love somewhere? That there is perhaps always more hope, always more to strive for? Celebrating Juneteenth is not just about learning and celebrating history. It is also about the radical resilience of hope, the absolutely mind-bending power of envisioning a brighter tomorrow. In the spirit of knowing what we are singing, let me end with a few words on our closing hymn, Lift Every Voice and Sing. This song was written by James Weldon Johnson, a prolific poet and composer who lived from 1871 to 1938. In addition to making huge contributions in the arts with his work and anthologies, Johnson was a lawyer and educator who worked to expand opportunities for other African Americans. Around the turn of the century, Johnson became an outspoken activist, organizing protests and helping the NAACP reach unprecedented membership numbers. It was around this time in 1900 that Johnson penned Lift Every Voice and Sing, which is to this day known as the Black National Anthem. It is a hymn of joy and praise to God, a celebration of freedom gained and freedom yet to come. So let us rise in body or in spirit and join Linda and the gospel choir in singing hymn 149, Lift Every Voice and Sing, in your gray hymnal.